Hello. Now, I think I've stumbled across something that's been bothering me. And episode 2 of the Armageddon Factor has helped solidify my thinking on something. And this encompasses both the character of the Doctor, the nature of the programme, the quality of this story. Okay, so I'm going to try and encapsulate this without having scripted it in any way. One of the essential conceits of Doctor Who that has remained constant since its inception is that, with some very noticeable exceptions, no matter who the Doctor is at that particular time, they are the cleverest person in the room. Okay, that is just part of the DNA of the programme. Okay, the Doctor outthinks everybody, is smarter than everybody. Okay, not necessarily stronger, not necessarily quicker, but just smarter. And I think that's possibly one of the reasons that makes me love this programme so much, because I value cleverness, I value intelligence. Now, the issue I've got now is that we are 2/3 the way through Baker's run, and we've arrived at Bob Baker and Dave Martin's story, which we can have reservations about. We've discussed this in the past, I assume, probably. And here's the thing, okay, here's my big take, and I think a lot of things may spin off this. So the Doctor is still the cleverest person in the room. The issue is that the room is full of exceptionally stupid people, and it's a stupid room, and in comparison to everything is stupid. Now, I think there are a number of reasons for this. So let's go for it. Tom Baker, the actor, is almost as big as, if not bigger than, the programme Doctor Who at this point. And that brings a number of problems. When you've got a star and the programme's become
I'm getting a bit bored of Tom being Tom.
Yeah, I know.
He's so over.
He's just massive, isn't he?
Massive.
And when it's a star vehicle like that, I think what you need to do, you can't just lean back on it. You need to push and you need to challenge. When's the last time Tom had any pushing and challenging? So he dominates everything right now. Now, he has the charisma to pull that off a lot of the time. But if he's anyway not on his game, it just causes things to seem a bit turgid. And the problem is with this story is that it's so... I mean, it's half decent. This would be a good Pertwee story. But my gosh, we spent ages just sort of hanging around a room at the start, and then eventually the guards came. We'd have cleared that up within 30 seconds of most of the Doctor Who stories. Then we have this absolutely ridiculous bit of theatrical nonsense in the command room, where we wait until to Romana and the surgeon dude pass, and then the Marshal and Grant Shapps come back into view. And I'm fine with Doctor Who being theatrical, but that was just ludicrous. Then we get the skull bit, which has just completely blown my wife's mind. And then we get the bit at the end, which, if you needed subtext, is for cowards, when the Doctor said, somebody's being really stupid here. And we go, right, okay. And then we get the cliffhanger and the door not closing at the end. Now, I'm fine with the odd Doctor Who story that's fairly on rails, and I'm fine with a story that's fairly simple. This is in no way, for example, as complicated as Power of Kroll, which had lots of different competing factions, and there's an essential mystery here. And what's going to go on, I think, with the war and the revelations about that is obviously quite interesting and stuff. But just the interaction between the characters, 6-part story as well, to be fair. This would have been done in half an episode before. But the simple fact is that, in part because it's Tom Baker, in part because I think the series is going through an uninspired thing. I mean, the Key to Time season, for all it's a nice idea, hasn't provided the springboard of innovation that it would hope. We're just trudging around with stupid people saying stupid things all the time. Oh, and bless Romana. Romana, this potentially amazing character, will be an amazing character, is reduced to going, well, I heard him say that he didn't want you dead yet. Dun dun dun. You're a flipping Time Lord, for crying out loud.
I can even feel K9 rolling his eyes.
Yeah, K9. When K9 is, the cynicism of K9 starts to spill over into the cynicism of the audience. Oh, and how many... look, I'm all up for K9 having things to do, but how many sequences of him going on a conveyor belt and nearly getting burnt? And then the Doctor diving into a furnace to save him. I'm happy to watch this story. I'm enjoying it for what it is.
I'm delighted to be watching this story.
But it's full of thick people.
I'm not sure I can get through another 4 episodes.
No, well, we've got to. We've got to get through another 4 episodes. The other thing I've got to say, and this is just a more fundamental thing, the Marshal and Grant Shapps are in 2 different programmes.
100% error.
It's really weird. The Marshal is trying to be this slightly unhinged, quite disturbing character, and Grant Shapps is flipping in a carry-on film. It is. I cannot... Why isn't the director sorting that out? At the casting stage, why wasn't that dealt with? That's ridiculous. This story isn't as bad as I'm making it sound, but honestly, I think I've finally squared in my head why it is that we get to a certain part with Tom Baker and I'm thinking, come on, when we're going to get to Logopolis? Do you know what I mean? And I love Tom Baker. I mean, we've got a lot of good stuff to come, but my gosh, oh dear. Anyway, there we go. So listen, I've slagged off Armageddon Factor unfairly. I wouldn't say this is as bad as Power of Kroll, but on the heels of Power of Kroll,
It's better than...
it's Power of
for
Kroll,
sure.
yeah. But on the heels of that, my God,
It doesn't feel that different to the Space Planet thing, though.
Space Planet thing, Pirate Planet.
Pirate Planet.
But Pirate Planet was better.
Yeah, I'm just saying slightly unhinged.
Yeah, unhinged head dude. Yeah, that's a fair shout, actually. On a base, yeah, that's perhaps too. But it just shows how this story is so bereft of innovation. And the Pirate Planet, and, if you could split all the innovation in the Pirate Planet and give half of it here, we think we'd be on to a winner. Anyway, I've talked for 7 minutes about an episode that I was fairly uninspired by. Yeah. Tell me what you think. But hit me up in the comments below. Share with your family. Perhaps they have an opinion on the Armageddon fact.
Spread it like
Bye-bye.
disease.